information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Accomplishment Coaching is proud to present the following fine programming. Accomplishment Coaching, where coaches lead and leaders coach. AccomplishmentCoaching.com.
Welcome back to the Wealth Building Hour.
Well, thanks so much for being with us. This is R.J. Kelly. It's always delightful to have you listening in with us. And if you've got questions about anything that we're talking about or other topics, you can reach us at 800-975-5355. That's 800-975-5355, Wealth Legacy Group. And you can go to our website, wealthlegacygroup.com. Or you can find me on Twitter at Wealth Legacy GRP. That's Wealth Legacy GRP. And then LinkedIn, it's RJ Kelly. I'll roll together. Well, this last segment, we were chatting with Randy Fox. And truly, Randy is a great resource. I love working with him. We get to bring together some different perspectives because of our different geographic and background and training, but we still have the minds of entrepreneurs. Bill, I'm now in this segment, we're going to talk with Bill High. And Bill, you've got this wonderful background also as a highly trained attorney, as well as a conference speaker and a published author. And you also know what it's like to run companies. You've founded 2 technology companies, which is idonate.com. Which, as I understand, is the only integrated online donation platform that serves both the nonprofit communities and then a second company, Family Arc, A-R-C, so familyarc.com, which is an online personal and private family legacy platform that families across the country are using to really start addressing this concept of legacy and generational planning. I love all of that. Through National Christian Foundation Heartland, again, as we talked earlier, over $2 billion that's been moved forward, much of that to kingdom and to ministry type projects. So, Bill, let's talk with you a little bit about, again, some of the things, the work that you're doing, and please tell me about the Giving Concierge. What is that? Unpack that for us, would you please?
Back and reinforce one of the things that Randy was talking about. The opportunity to work nationally allows you to see a lot of situations that just the normal everyday planner or lawyer in his own neighborhood isn't going to see. And so that's really the benefit, the power of collaboration, of bringing in people who work on a national scale who can say, I've seen this. Mm-hmm. So, and that's where even when we talk about the whole idea of the Giving Concierge, so many times people are looking for innovation and opportunity. I mean, because, again, we work nationally, one of the most common conversations that I have is people oftentimes want to give to individuals in need, but they don't know how. And there's actually a ministry that we work with. They're approved by the IRS that allows you to make grants to needy individuals. So that's a real simple solution that we see. But again, it's just because of that national exposure. Sometimes you can bring solutions to the table just because you get to see a lot.
Understandably. And so, Bill, in your work, particularly with families, I love what you talk about, the power of stories in families. And can you tell us a little bit more about that and how you use that?
In a given family, that 90% of the family story, so your kids, RJ, will probably forget 90% of your stories unless we become intentional about passing them on. And the reason why stories are so important is because stories are where the values live. The stories represent our life lessons. They represent our greatest moments of hurt, our joy, our desires. But it's those kind of emotional moments that stick in the lives of family. You think about every great movie that you've ever witnessed, they're a storyline, and we remember them, even movies that we watched years and years ago. The family journey is very much the same, and so that's the really part of the work that I get to do working with families is try to help those families pull out those stories and remember them. That's the familyarc.com. It's helping families remember and memorialize those stories.
Well, what a great idea. We were laughing this weekend. We were out with some wonderful clients of ours, my wife and I, and enjoying Lamb's Players Theater here in San Diego and the Christmas message. And so much of that musical, that presentation, they used this wonderful gift of stories. And I was thinking about you and how you bring the power of stories and the things that say, this is what this family stands for, and using stories to link that and really get that generational glue, if you will. Randy, you were talking about earlier so commonly that family wealth doesn't last longer than 3 generations because they try to pass the wealth along of the financial wealth, but they don't address the roots, which we might call the most important part of the tree. It's the root system. And so, Bill, you're really identifying what are the roots in this family. And from that virtue system, as we learned, the value system comes from the virtues. And then from the value system comes the fruit on the tree. Who was it who said you can, I guess it was Churchill, that said you can measure the life, the life of a tree once it's down, but you can measure the life of a tree or the importance of a tree during its lifetime by its fruit. I really butchered those two sayings, but anyway, there's the idea. So you're measuring and helping families identify the fruit, Bill, and then passing along generationally. Do I have that right?
Yeah, I mean, in the book, Giving It All Away and Getting It All Back Again, I talk, we obviously are sharing the Hobby Lobby family story, and this is a family that's worth billions. But it doesn't matter how much you're worth necessarily, the principles are the same. Again, they had a good set of estate documents. They thought that they had a plan that would, certainly take care of their estate needs. But what they didn't have is really an underlying compass setting. They hadn't identified what's the family vision for the next 7 generations. What's our mission? What's our set of values that we want each successive generation to subscribe to? So we helped them develop a practical set of mission, vision, values. And on top of that is we didn't let it just sit on a piece of paper, but we also then helped them implement an annual family celebration. So once a year they get together and they review that family mission, vision, values. So it's something that they continue to reinforce. Once a month they get together, and at family birthdays they're working to affirm the family. So there's a whole set of ritual and celebration that they go through to make sure that they are teaching that next generation. They've used Family Arc. They've used the idea of video and creating video, writing the story down so that the next generations won't forget. It's one of the most powerful things I think you can do is when you get those kids and grandkids leaning in to say, hey, Dad or Grandpa, tell me the story about when you first met Mom or when you got the business started or when you almost lost everything. Those are the moments that kids remember, and those are kind of values that really stick with you from one generation to the next.
Well, and I would think also with you and Brooke being married over 30 years and having 4 kids of your own, plus 2 son-in-laws and grandchildren, you're living out obviously your own conviction and faith, and what you're sharing with other people, you're living it out as well, which I love that. You shared something the other day when we were on the phone that I also want to make sure we touch on, and that is the difference between personality and character. Between personality and character. Can you tell us what you mean by that? What's the difference? And how does that matter?
When I start working with family, actually one of the first things that I like to do is I like to do some personality assessments and strength finders assessments. Personality is really how you're wired up. It is what God instills in you. The Bible says we're all fearfully and wonderfully made. We're uniquely wired with a distinct personality. It's whether you're extroverted, introverted, you're going to be somebody that's high detail, low detail. Personality is, generally speaking, something that you don't change. You can work to overcome your weaknesses, but generally it's how you're wired up. Character, on the other hand, and by the way, personality is not good or bad. It just is. And so in the context of family, what I typically see is that We see a lot of conflict over people trying to change personality and saying, hey, why can't you be like this? When the reality is, if I said to you, RJ, go live in a cubicle, you would wither and die. That's your personality. On the other hand, you don't get to say, hey, my personality means I always lie. That's character. Character is good or bad, and character is something that you can develop. And so helping families understand just how are you wired up and how do you fit into the context of your family is really about the different puzzle pieces. In the context of the church, we talk about the different members of the body all having a role to play. And that's what we want families to see. We fit together, but we have our corresponding strengths and weaknesses that allow us to work effectively together. We work on developing our character, integrity and honesty, hard work, all those kind of things. We can work on those, but we don't get to blame our personality for our lack of character.
Absolutely. And so often, and Randy, don't you see that as well, working in families where the family is trying to change that person to fit a mold that they just aren't. It just isn't who they are. And Bill, that's what I love about this work that you're doing. And as I understand as well, you have been able to, in working with the Green family and the Hobby Lobby, that was one of the reasons why they won that historic tax case against the IRS, is because of the fact is it's inculcated in their culture that they are givers and that their faith is paramount to them and all the decisions they make, and yet they are uniquely different in the family, these generations of folks there. Love this stuff. Good stuff. Well, in our last segment, I'm going to ask Randy and Bill to kind of wrap it up for us. Where do you go? Where's the first steps? How do you start putting this into practice in your own family, your own business? You're listening to the Wealth Building Hour. This is RJ Kelly. It's so good to have you with us. You're not going to want to miss this. Next segment, come on back.
Securing Our eCity Foundation is a nonprofit organization focused on cybersecurity awareness and education. Formed in 2011, their mission is to enable every San Diegan to live, work, and play safely in the cyber world. For more information, visit securingourecity.org or call 619-630-2444. securingourecity.org, 619-630-2444. securingourecity.org.
You were born to do one amazing thing, but most people spend a lifetime trying to identify what it is. If you're in a job you don't like or are unemployed, if you're in a state of transition or just can't shake that nagging feeling that you were meant and made to do something extraordinary, then the Reinvention Workshop is exactly what you need. Led by award-winning self-help author Steve Olsher, the Reinvention Workshop will forever change your life. The Reinvention Workshop takes you step by step through Steve's proven formula that has helped so many people get on the right path and clear about what they were born to do. Take the first step to realizing the life you deserve and desire by visiting thereinventionworkshop.com today. No more delays. No more denial. Reconnect with your true self. Learn to live with purpose and conviction and become who you were born to be. The world is waiting for you. What are you waiting for? Log on to thereinventionworkshop.com today. That's thereinventionworkshop.com.
You may have heard me brag about Progressive Medical Center and just how much they've helped me with my health. And Dr. Goley, one thing that you've helped so many people with is migraines.
Unfortunately, there are millions and millions of Americans who are suffering with migraines and headaches, and they're debilitating because it affects the quality of their life, and they cannot function properly. At Progressive, we get to the root cause because we understand that migraines could be caused by nutritional deficiencies, hormonal imbalances, believe it or not, delayed food sensitivities. And once we determine what the real reason is, we put a plan of action together with medication that we get them off slowly, and we put them on an all-natural approach, and the results are amazing.
Incredible. I mean, there's so many people that can say they don't live their lives with migraines anymore thanks to Progressive Medical Center.
And that's what's exciting and rewarding to us as physicians, because we help our patients take control of their health, and that's why they're living well.
Why don't you get a hold of Progressive Medical Center today? Don't live in pain. Don't have migraines anymore. Just go to their website, progressivemedicalcenter.com.
This is your life. Live it well.
In the military, things can change in an instant. Your personal life is just the same. Just like you protect our country, you want your family protected. That's why thousands of military members trust Navy Mutual Life Insurance. Navy Mutual is nonprofit, providing current and former Navy, Marine, and Coast Guard families with life insurance, no sales fees, and no military service restrictions. Protecting members on active duty and beyond. Call 1-800-628-6011, 800-628-6011, NavyMutual.org, insuring those who serve.
Talk to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Accomplishment Coaching is proud to present the following fine programming. Accomplishment Coaching, where coaches lead and leaders coach. AccomplishmentCoaching.com.
Welcome back to the Wealth Building Hour.
Well, it's great to have you with us. I wish you all could have the opportunity of meeting Randy and Bill, Randy Fox and Bill High in person, but you would enjoy their books, their leadership in so many different ways. Bill can be reached at B High. I mean, this is the ribbing this poor man has received over the years. B High, that's B, the letter B, High, at ncfgiving.com, or you can go to his website, billhigh.com. That's HIGH, billhigh.com, or 913-310-0279. And again, with Randy, you can reach Randy at 704-698-4055. But Bill and Randy, thanks so much for being with us today. Let's bring this plane in for a landing, shall we? So there's a family out there that's listening. There's a business owner that's listening. There's folks that have been blessed with enormous amounts of resources. They're listening to this. Where do they go? What are some of the first steps? Where do they start addressing this issue of legacy and planning, and whether or not there's a state tax or not? The fact is, we've been able to plan around a state tax. The largest case I've worked with is a $2.9 billion family out of New York. We don't have any estate tax there because we're using philanthropy to eliminate the estate tax. But of course, we have ongoing issues of income tax, capital gains tax, and other things. But where do they start? So, Randy, where would you say that family out there, that business owner out there, what's the starting points? 1, 2, 3.
Great question. I would say they should start by being more proactive and less reactive. I think they should talk to their existing advisors, and if they're not satisfied with the answers they're getting from their existing advisors, then find new advisors.
And part of it is getting clear, right? I mean, that's one of the things that I love about what you do is you ask such penetrating questions that are also so kindly phrased. And that's what we have worked on as well for years, is how can we get to the heart of what matters most to an individual? Getting past just the financial wealth to explore the emotional, the relational, as well as the spiritual wealth. And you do such a lovely job with that. So for the people that out there that we're working with, how do they get clear on what matters to them? Because are the attorneys and CPAs, the traditional planners, it seems to me that they're failing in being able to really get at the heart of the client.
Yeah, I agree, RJ. And there are a number of professionals, and Bill can answer this far better than me, I'm sure, and you're going to let him. There are those that ask the good questions, and you know them when you meet them because they don't hesitate to ask. It's like professional athletes all have coaches. They all have someone. The professional golfers have someone to watch their backswing, because you can't ask yourself those questions effectively. You need someone outside of you to ask and listen to your response so that they can ask the next question.
Well put. That's what I love about our North County Estate Planning Council here in San Diego, and my dear friend Bill Super, who's done such an extraordinary job of attracting the best and brightest of the various professions, and attorneys and CPAs and bankers and financial advisors that really do care, that really do want to get to the heart of the matter. And Bill, I owe you an apology. I'm going to pivot over to you here, but I owe you an apology because I've been leaving off unintentionally, I think, one of the most important taglines of your most recent book with David Green. Yes, it's called the Giving It All Away and Getting It All Back Again, but the tagline then is the way of living generously. The way of living generously. So I apologize for not bringing that out sooner until now. But that book is just extraordinary. Not only do the Greens live a life of generosity, but that's truly what you talk about as well in terms of some of the glue in a family intergenerationally. But so where does a family? What would be your suggestions, Bill? Where does a family start to grapple with these issues of who are we as a family? What do we stand for? How do we continue generationally, not just financially, but as a family?
Well, the first thing really is they have to start with the recognition that nothing lasts. They're going to pass away. Their plans that they have, frankly, probably really are not sufficient to help them think about a multi-generational legacy. So if they start with that assumption, I've looked at estate plans for years and years and years, and I've yet to see a plan that is really set up for a multi-generational kind of impact. So if we start with that assumption, then the next thing that we have to do is we have to apply ourselves in the same way that the families that you're talking about, RJ, have built businesses, built empires, built all kinds of work. They have to apply that same kind of energy to think about how they pass on their legacy. And so that's a learning process. That's why I encourage that they pick up a book like the Giving It All Away and Getting It All Back Again. That book outlines and lays out the story of one family's process. There's a couple other books that I've been able to be part of, The Unprepared and Unheritage. They're on my website, thebillhigh.com. Those are great resources where they can begin learning. And then, as Randy pointed out, go seek out advisors, go seek out your advisors and say, do I have people that can help me think differently? If they're certainly in your neck of the woods, RJ, go seek out RJ Kelly. If they're where Randy's at, go seek him out and say, I need some help. I need to think differently. And I think fundamentally that's the first thing I say. We just need to be thinking differently about the legacies that we leave beyond just traditional estate planning.
I remember chatting in the gym. I get some of these engaging conversations in the gym with this fellow. It turns out he was a financial advisor, and it turns out he was working with some uber wealthy families. And he was talking about one family that was, at least he was saying, was worth over $1 billion. And so it was, so okay, chat. And I asked him the question, what are you doing to help them pass their virtues and their value system on to the next generation? And he looked at me like I was speaking, Russian. And he said, well, no, we've got some things in place. We're going to get enormous amounts of wealth down to the next generations. They'll all be taken care of. They won't have to worry about anything for the rest of their lives. I said, well, okay, that's great. But what are you doing to pass the virtues and the value system that help create the wealth? What are you doing to pass that along? And he just looked at me like, where are you from? And it just pointed out to me again how few are really committed to this idea of putting and addressing, like you said, Bill, that nothing lasts. The Bible tells us that as well, that wealth flies away. It just is here today and then it's gone tomorrow. And that we have to be just as energetic in applying our skill sets to build these very successful businesses, but we have to be just as energetic in about that passing that legacy on, or just accept the fact that we know statistically, according to Roy Williams and Vic Pricer, that generationally, that money's not going to last more than probably 3 generations. So, Bill, any last thoughts before we wrap it up here? I'm going to kind of synthesize for us, but anything else before we wrap up?
You hit it right on the nail on the head. Everybody wants to be part of something meaningful and last. None of us goes and starts out our career, our life, and thinking, man, I just want to end up in a pile of chaos. And, as a result of that, we really need to, as I say, apply the same kind of level of energy to these big ideas.
Well, I've been visiting with Bill High and Randy Fox, 2 of our nation's real treasures when it comes to planning with a very thoughtful approach, generational approach, dealing with matters of complexity, but in a way that it's understandable by anyone. And it's been my privilege to work with them, and I continue, please God, continue to work with them as the years come along. I want to wrap up our program today, as I do everyone, which is we're all leaving a legacy. It doesn't matter how badly I may have tubed it yesterday. today. I get a fresh start today. And here's the question. Every one of us leaves a legacy. What's the legacy you're going to leave? And what is the legacy you're going to live out? We've been talking today about being intentional about our lives. I wish that for all of you, as well as myself. I have to be willing to make changes, to live a life of intention and integrity, and make a difference that lasts beyond my own life. So, blessings on you. Go and make a difference. This is RJ Kelly. Goodbye for now.
Has your business been appified? Are you tired of doing marketing that doesn't deliver results? Mobile apps build loyalty and quality retention. Your app from UPG Mobile puts your business on their mind and at their fingertips. UPG Mobile will give you a custom app highlighting how you are unique, targeting your message, and improving your open rates. Appify your business and amplify your presence with your customers at upgmobilemarketinggroup.com.
Securing Our eCity Foundation is a nonprofit organization focused on cybersecurity awareness and education. Formed in 2011, their mission is to enable every San Diegan to live, work, and play safely in the cyber world. For more information, visit securingourecity.org or call 619-630-2444. securingourecity.org, 619-630-2444. securingourecity.org.
Kenja Dixon was crowned the #1 sales executive through hard work, deep thinking, and the revelation of universal talk laws. He now wants to share these lessons with you. Universal talk laws are what you need to know and use in business and at home to have successful and effective conversations. Kenja Dixon shares his wisdom, action plans, and wealth. Each book comes with a chance to win $10,000. Find Universal Talk Laws at kenjadixon.com.
Attention business owners. Does it feel like your business owns you? See if you qualify for a free 90-minute business coaching session to help you build a business, not a job. During this free 90-minute strategic consultation, one of our senior coaches will help you map out the best way to grow your company and get your life back. To learn more, go to MauiMasterminds.com/scale now. That's MauiMasterminds.com/scale now.
Do you want to be a professional coach? Are you in business trying to make a real difference with people you manage or work with? Have you started a coaching practice that isn't quite getting off the ground? Get the skills you need to be a successful coach today with the Coaches Training Program from Accomplishment Coaching. The Coaches Training Program will show you how to help others focus and be more fulfilled. Whether you want to improve your company's bottom line or create a thriving coaching practice, Accomplishment Coaching can give you the distinctions and practices you need to coach others effectively today. Accomplishment Coaching has spent 6 years developing a cutting-edge coaches training program that will have you ready to coach people professionally in just 12 months, and you don't have to take time off work to do it. To find out more about the Coaches Training Program, just call 1-888-548-6813. That's 1-888-548-6813.